The Cardinals announced that they make no changes to their staff or their personnel, which means Drew Petzing isn't to blame for Sunday's loss. I guess Amari DiMercato isn't to blame for Sunday's loss, and neither is Jonathan Gannon. So who's to blame? Obviously, it's Taylor Swift.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into Southwest Bias. I am your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montia and not Espo, as you might have come here to see. And we are talking today about the Cardinals' loss still. Now, typically, we wouldn't carry over Arizona Cardinals talk into Tuesday unless they played on Monday night. But this loss on Sunday was so devastating that it's hard to get past. And of course, we want to remind you all that we are brought to you by our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com to learn more today. And the fine folks at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, they deserve me to go over there and take a staycation after what we saw on Sunday. I need time away from our Arizona sports team after all the hurt, including an unnecessary shot by celebrity weakest link last night at our Arizona Coyotes. But I digress. I can only take on one bad team at a time. And right now it's the Arizona Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon, when asked in his presser yesterday, made the announcement that the Cardinals will be making no changes to their coaching staff, nor will they be making any changes to their personnel. And that includes DiMercato staying on the team, obviously. And Gannon even apologized for his sideline interaction with DiMercato, where he slammed him essentially in the chest and took both some definite criticism online as well as people that were somehow pleased with it after watching DiMercato fumble that ball out of the back of the end zone. But an overall haul with this team is needed. And I think that's what everybody that roots for this team, watches this team, and covers this team has kind of agreed on. It's one of those times where even the local news anchors, who tend to be very even-keeled about stuff like this, were fired up. I saw Craig Fouey angry last night. You know how hard it is to get Craig angry? It's amazing, right? And this is all because of Drew Petzing being the person that nobody feels like should lead the offense going forward anymore. And now, as much as people will hate this, I will say some things in defense of Drew Petzing, as crazy as it is, because he did call that play that caused DiMercato to break out and take it to the house, only for him to fumble it out of the back of the end zone. So that wasn't on him. That's on DiMercato. I guess you could put it on the offensive coordinator to talk to his players a bit more about making bonehead plays like that, but that feels like something that should have been addressed in, Pop Warner when they're kids in high school. This isn't the time to be dumping a football out of your hand before you make an actual touchdown. You're a professional, right? But it also, he had nothing to do with the interception that was fumbled away into the Titans' hands for a touchdown. But the reason why it's Petzing that needs to go is this goes far beyond Sunday's loss to the Titans. Even with all of the mistakes that were made in that game, Drew Petzing and the offense had multiple opportunities to still win it. And that, I think, is what's most frustrating about it. We saw literally the tale of two teams, or two completely different teams, you could say. What happened in the first quarter and for a few minutes in the second, and then the rest of the game, right? And the rest of the game was a passive offense that had a substantial lead that felt like they could just coast, apparently, with their play calling, versus how aggressive they were being, especially through the air there in the first quarter, right? And again, this Cardinals team, they are now ranked 26th in NFL in total yards per game at 288.4. They are 30th in passing yards per game at 170.2. They are 23rd in points per game at 20.6. And they were 27th in yards per play, or are 27th in yards per play at 4.8. Not to mention all the talk about not getting Marvin Harrison Jr. into the offense, into the play calling. He wasn't getting involved enough, and he was having a brilliant game on Sunday before things came to abrupt stop. Only one target on Marvin Harrison after all of those yards he registered through the air. And again, Gannon is here taking the brunt of the accountability. He said that this is on him as the head coach of this team. And if that's the case, then if Jonathan Gannon wasn't on the hot seat, he is now, quite frankly, or he should be. I mean, he has accepted accountability as the head coach, so the heat moves to him. But it also feels like the door is still somehow opened in the future for them to move on from Drew Petzing. That's the point that kind of drives me insane. Everybody knows that up to this point, the Cardinals have had a very easy schedule. No NFL team is a team you can walk over. No NFL team is an automatic win. However, the easier portion of their schedule has occurred here in their first 5 games, and things only get substantially tougher from this point. So if so far the unsatisfactory play calling has led to these 3 losses in a row, and you could hang a lot of it on the offense, then I implore them to not wait too long before making this decision. One Killer Rex is here in the chat, and I have to address the fact that he and I have gone at it about firing coaches in the past. But this is a situation I think both of us agreed on with the Arizona Diamondbacks, where they waited far too long to move on from their third base coach. That was costing them games, costing them an identity that they had on the base path, and quite frankly, didn't feel like he was the right man for the job, but they stuck with him far too long. After they did replace him with a new third base coach, that D-backs base running and things on the infield started moving, much more efficiently. And the mistakes weren't being made. There were a lot of improvements there with that team. The problem being, and honestly, that happened. And next thing you know, the Diamondbacks are right back in the mix as far as a playoff hunt is concerned. Part of it was the fact that the Mets are an absolutely terrible team and collapsed. But another part of it was this team figured out a way to be themselves again. And that's where the identity of this Cardinals team felt like it was being established in that first quarter and then completely lost beyond that. Maybe that is the identity of this team. Maybe that confusion and that lack of consistency is what the Cardinals are. But Sunday's loss was an abomination, right? And again, you cannot wait too long like the Diamondbacks did to make those changes, because it'll be too late. And that is something I think that people have been kind of universally agreeing on here with Drew Petzing and his play calling. And again, this is one of those situations where the Cardinals do still have enough time, but this is also creeping up on them very fast. I cover baseball. It's not a 162-game season. They don't have much opportunity to turn things around. Waiting too long, again, to make a change like this midseason could have been what cost the Diamondbacks their playoff chances, and sticking with Drew Petzing will absolutely be the reason why the Cardinals miss their playoff chances. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. Welcome in to you guys. Of course, we got our guy, the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, on the 1s and 2s today. And Shane, I know that Espo, this probably pained Espo more than anything, but I know he came up with a theory here. And according to Jonathan Gannon himself, everybody is to blame. But if everybody is to blame, isn't nobody to blame? Aren't we just collectively? Like, he accepted accountability, but it felt like all he really did was try to take the heat off of his running back and his offensive coordinator.
Yeah. It is just a weird situation, because the offense is horrible. The vibes are bad. You're injured. There are so many things going wrong. And so, yes, there are a lot of factors to it, but like, start with what was going wrong before, like, the landslide started, which was the offense. Like, that. Start with the play calling. That was always going wrong. You can try to make excuses for what the with what's not working without injuries.
Sure.
But still, going back to the root cause of it at the start of the season, I mean, and even last season, like, you should probably start there.
I mean, I absolutely agree with you. And you're right, because injuries could be blamed here, losing Connor, losing, key personnel. But the Cardinals proved on at least the first quarter how efficient they were. It wasn't adjustments made by the Titans. This wasn't a case of the Cardinals getting out-coached. They were just simply cursed. This was the most ridiculous. Like, I do believe that accountability is shared all the way around, but specifically, this felt like nothing went their way. And even the weirdest circumstances where that interception, for instance, would have sealed the deal, It gets fumbled away into the end zone for a Titans touchdown. And Espo addressed this before he left on Friday, Shane. And again, I know it probably pained him to do so, but was he right about Taylor Swift cursing this team? Here we are now. Taylor Swift, this is the tale of the tape. It's now 9 albums released because of the new album that was dropped here on October 3rd, Life of a Showgirl. And the Cardinals are now 2-7 after Taylor Swift releases an album. We discussed there being evil magic cast over Sunday's game. But was that evil magic cast by T-Swizzle? I implore that just because after what an Etsy witch did for the Seattle Mariners, I can't help but wonder about this. And I mean, I almost feel like this loss was foretold on this album. I know many of you might not have listened to it, but Taylor Swift has a song that's called Canceled on her latest album. And the first verse says, "You thought that it would be okay at first. The situation could be saved, of course, but they already picked out your grave and hearse." Is that about the Diamondback, or is that about the Cardinals 2025-2026 season? Is that about Drew Petzing's time as offensive coordinator? I go on to a more specific verse in verse 2, where Taylor Swift goes on to say, "It's easy to love when you're popular. The optics click, everyone prospers, but one single drop, you're off the roster." That had to be about the DeMercado fumble, right? Like, there's no way that wasn't like that wasn't a prophecy of the fumble, right? Oh, just for you that may not know, the Taylor Swift Education Center happens to be in Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm just saying there might be black magic at hand here. But speaking of other curses, did want to briefly address the fact, I don't know if it's been discussed on this show ever, but we have a fantasy football league around here. It's with a PH on the fantasy, but we have the PHNX Fantasy Football League.
You pronounced it wrong. It's the fantasy.
It's I'm sorry. It's the Fantasy Football League. But the Taylor Swift curse here might not be the only legitimate curse for football in the state of Arizona, because we have a curse here called the Waffle House curse, and that is because our punishment for coming in last in the Fantasy Football League is spending 24 hours in a Waffle House. And as many of you know, I suffered that fate at the end of last fantasy football season. And the reason why I did is because I won the previous year. See, that's the part of the curse. Is Saul Bookman, who is, I guess, the founder in a way of this league, he won the inaugural season, obviously by cheating.
Yeah, it was by cheating.
It was obviously by cheating. He beat you, right?
Yeah, and look, man, there's a lot of factors at play in football, some of which are injuries and some of which are really serious injuries that cause games to stop being played. And if that happens,
1,000%,
you know what? It just happens. And when the DeMar Hamlin situation happened, I was winning that game, and he overrode me and said we were playing again the next week, and then I lost. So it was a cheat. But anyway, that's
okay. So that's the thing is that cursed this league, right? Because
I think yes, you're so right.
That cursed
Derek.
this league, because then the next year Saul went to the Waffle House. So it's like now the winner of the league now comes in last the next season. I won season 2 and came in last inexplicably last year. And now one Max Simpson, the ad man, aka the ad man, he won the season last year. He won season 3. And as we take a look at the standings, Max is currently suffering the Waffle House curse fate.
His team is so bad.
His team is so bad, and he's 0-5. He got married, so there were some distractions there, but we're not going to give the Cardinals guys the excuse of the fact that they're working so hard during football season to not pay attention to their teams. We're definitely not giving Max the excuse of getting married as the reason why he's 0-5. The real reason is because curses are real, and you have to do everything you can to find a Etsy witch to remove them and bless your team, I guess. But meanwhile, me and Shane over here, we're tied with that rapscallion Noah for first place. I'm not saying we're in second and third. We're all tied for first. That's how I'm finishing it.
I will say, Espo's team is on Waffle Watch for sure.
Yeah,
he has less points than Max.
Yeah, he's in trouble. He's in trouble, and he's had some injuries to his team.
Very big injuries.
Yeah,
Max's team is just straight up bad.
Yeah, he's bad, but he can still. I think they're saying things he can do.
Yeah.
Killer X asked a great question in chat. He said, why is eating at Waffle House a punishment? That's a gift from God. See, not so fast, Killer X. It's not eating at Waffle House. It's spending 24 hours in a Waffle House. And now I will tell you, as a man that was excited to do this, I had a similar attitude that you had until about hour 6 and Waffle 4. Waffle 4 is where I started to realize what a huge mistake I had made and how difficult this journey truly was going to be. And then there was nothing tougher than when the second line came in and they didn't mess with me the same way. The morning women and the morning cook, they were great. They understood the assignment. They understood what I was trying to do. I was just trying to get through waffles. They didn't need to be thick. They just needed to be as small as possible and help me get through it. They were a team with me. The second half crew, they weren't having it. So things got very difficult around 2 p.m. And grew kind of stagnant, and I grew bored. There was only so much Netflix stuff I had to watch on my phone. But speaking of all of that, we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about what's going wrong with the WNBA Finals and the Phoenix Mercury, as well as why we are on baby watch for Josh Naylor. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching Southwest Bias. Well, as we said before, no one does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can visit any one of their 4 locations, Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vikiva, or Santan Mountain to experience the best the Valley has to offer. And of course, we have all of our events out there. We have our away watch parties for the Cardinals out there. So you can join us for that. It's a great time. You can also just go whenever you want to. Not only is it a great place for a staycation, but you also have the gaming floor with over 4,500 live slots and table games, which is a blast to enjoy. And also their sportsbook, which was always a great time and a great place to watch sports. So do not mess out on the unprecedented level of entertainment they have over there at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. And of course, if you are looking to get fitted for game day, there is no better place to go than Rally House. Rally House is the go-to spot for all your favorite local Arizona team gear, with tens of thousands of products to shop from and locations in Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale. There's no reason for you to not look your best on game day by shopping at Rally House. If you haven't checked out what they have to offer, I mean, not just game day, not just the clothes, not just the jersey, not just the hat. They got everything. Drinkware, signage, baby's diapers, suntan lotion. It doesn't matter. Anything you can imagine, they probably have with your favorite team on it. They carry only Arizona sports teams too. So do not miss out on the fact that you can shop somewhere where you don't have to look at a bunch of Dodgers jerseys hanging in the window when you walk into a store here in Arizona. Every time you visit a Rally House, you're guaranteed to find something new, unique, and that matches your game day vibe. I'm not singing the jingle, but the jingle is pretty amazing. So do not miss out on the jingle. Do not miss out on Rally House. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. I will say though, like I love saying Rally House. Someone told me, I've received a lot of criticism, by the way, that I do not do the live thing as well as Johnny Venerable. So I missed out on doing that, but we are live from Studio K, and I'm going to do it very subdued because of the attack on me not being able to do it as well. I was also told I didn't have the charisma of Espo. I disagree with that. Correct. There are a lot of things I don't have as Espo. As good of a hairline. His beard is much nicer than mine. His knowledge of sports is far more than mine. But charisma, come on. At least it's a push, right? At least it's a push. And if you are here wondering where the hell Espo is, he is taking himself a much needed vacation this week. He will be back next week. Unless I take this job over permanently. I don't know. We'll see, Shane. But I will tell you this. We are really disappointed to see our Merc go down 0-2 into the Aces in the first ever best of 7 series in the WNBA Finals history. There is that. At least it's a best of 7 series, so the Merc do have a chance to come back here home and take this series, at least swing things back in their favor. But they lost a heartbreaking game 1 on Friday where they were up late. They end up losing that one 86-89 to the Aces, and then they kind of ran over there in game 2, losing on Sunday by a score of 78-91. The Aces' Jackie Young made history in game 2, scoring a WNBA Finals record 21 points in the third quarter. And it's always the third quarter with basketball in this town, isn't it? It's always the third quarter where you just see your favorite local Arizona sports team get ran out of the building in the playoffs. Meanwhile, in the third quarter, AT went 1 for 2 with 2 points. And again, that's probably a pretty abysmal performance from somebody who the Mercury needed to step up. Credit to the Aces on what they're able to do. They're a very good team. And, again, their defense was very good against the Mercury in game 2. But they also went cold from 3-point. They missed 15 consecutive shots and went 5 for 28 from 3-point. So you pair that with the fact that Satu got injured late in the fourth quarter and was seen literally readjusting her ankle on TV in the fourth quarter. That was kind of nice. Like, do we not some of the things that have been said about the WNBA may be very accurate when you see the difference in treatment here between the WNBA and the MNBA. But another thing that probably would have driven folks nuts here in town, Shane, was the Mercury pulled all of their starters when they were down by 16 in the fourth quarter after that injury.
Satu injury, yeah.
Man, if the Suns did that, the fan base would riot. You know what I mean? I know they were down by enough for them to kind of call the game, but with the way that basketball can move so fast and things can get crazy with that much time left, I think that was a little disappointing to Mercury fans. But head coach Nate Tibbett said after the game it was to keep everyone healthy, and considering this is a 7-game series, I kind of understand punting on the fourth quarter a little bit there. But
what do they say, Derek? The series doesn't start until a team wins on the road.
That's right.
Ain't started yet.
That's right. It hasn't started yet. I also learned on social media, Shane, that the Mercury are the villains in this series, or for the professional wrestling terms, as I would call it, the heels. I kind of love that for them, because I feel like they embrace that role well and do not give an F word about that role or thrusting that role upon them. So I say go ahead and put that on the Mercury all you want. They will probably respond really well to being that. But it's kind of crazy how this whole thing with the loss, or the Mercury beating the Lynx, has become a much bigger issue with how the WNBA is ran and how things are going. And hey, as someone that wants to have all sports be on the up and up, and I don't ever want to see any sport, even if it's the Mercury, I'm fine with it. The Suns and our teams have gotten screwed plenty of times, but I think overall, I feel like, we all want sports to be fair. And even if we win, we don't want there to be the excuses that we're seeing being thrown this way, that it was somehow, the Mercury having the game or series fixed in their favor in order for them to get to the finals. But make them the heels. I'm fine with that, Shane. What do you think with being the bad guy?
Alyssa Thomas is one of the best trash talkers in W history.
She's incredible.
She's so fun. It would be horrible to play against her.
Right.
The women on this team are perfect for that role.
Yeah.
You have a lot of different personalities. Satu's not afraid to talk. We know Kalia's not afraid to talk. She's been here before on this stage. Yeah. She was talking smack to the Mercury when she won Finals MVP.
I remember that.
There's just a lot of really, really, really fun personalities on this team. But it all starts with the head of the snake and Alyssa Thomas. So you need her to get back to her ways. And I know she's been good, but the 2 missed free throws in game 1. You just hope she can get her swagger a little more back at home.
I mean, she's a historic player, and the reason why they brought her in was to win a championship. And it's been amazing how fast this team has rebounded from where they were at to being here in the WNBA Finals. But I'm also, again, loving the villain role, so thrust that upon them. By the way, speaking of villains, you can join Bo Brock, Johnny Venerable, and the rest of the PHNX Cardinals crew for the Ultimate Cardinals Watch Party, again, out there at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. So do not miss that. Our next one is on Sunday, October 12th. They will have a pregame, halftime, and postgame PHNX Cardinals show, as well as food and drink specials, PHNX giveaways, and immaculate vibes. So join those boys out there. I say villains not because Johnny, Bo, and the Cardinals crew are villains. I'm talking mostly about the Cardinals. They're the villains right now, and we're the baby faces in this pro wrestling analogy. So go watch the villains play football on the away party. You can RSVP for our Cardinals away game watch parties at gophnx.com/events. Shane, before we get out of here, we did have to cover some baseball since I am the baseball guy. And of course, I'm not sure if you guys were aware, but the Diamondbacks are not in the postseason. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. But some teams that are in the postseason, I think we have some representation all around the office, which is kind of fun. And we have decided as a show, as the PHNX Diamondback show.
Don't say that.
No?
We don't have representation all around the office. We have representation for 2 teams.
3? Leah? The Toronto Blue Jays?
Well, yeah, no NL teams.
Oh, okay, yeah, no NL teams.
Thankfully.
It's all AL teams. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're not going to pick an NL team. We try to do that with the Cubs, and we might have cursed them. Yeah. But We also picked Shane's Mariners as our adopted surrogate baseball team. They did lose game 1 to Noah's Tigers, 3-2 in an extra innings classic.
In an extra innings sham.
That Shane would never call an extra innings classic in his lifetime. Yes, it was a sham because the only 2 guys playing baseball offensively for the Mariners were Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez. They were both 3 for 4. Raleigh had 3 singles. Rodriguez had a home run, 2 RBI, and he's currently playoff Julio, which is great to see and very exciting for Shane.
Well, you know what's even more exciting?
What's that?
He's like the best player in the world playing at Comerica, like the best.
All right. Well,
he like the last 2 games he had 3 hits each, I think. There. So in his career, he's very comfortable there. So we'll see. I don't know how he is playing in the rain though.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But hopefully it holds up because he's been incredible and not very clutch, as you were saying. He's not typically known for being clutch.
He's the least clutch superstar of all time in his career, and now he's proving that wrong, which is fantastic. It's really fun to watch.
It's great to see that maturation. You know what I mean?
We have to talk.
You need the opportunities, right? But we have more important things to talk about. That's the rest of the lineup.
The
by
most
the way,
important thing.
The rest of the lineup, not named Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, went 0 for 28 with 7 Ks, including former Diamondbacks Gino Suarez, who was 0 for 4, and Julio Rodriguez, who was 0 for 4, I believe, or not, excuse me, not Julio Rodriguez. Josh Naylor, who's the most important guy we talk about. Because he is the one that everybody loves up there in Seattle right now.
You know Panda Watch in Anchorman?
Yes.
Panda Watch.
Yeah,
now we're on Baby Watch.
Baby Watch 2025.
Derek, somehow during this show I've convinced myself that the baby is here.
Already?
I think the baby was born.
Like it's a secret baby?
Secret. I just don't think he's announced that he had it yet.
He came here to Arizona.
Yep, and then he flew back, and people were reporting that he's going to still leave when his wife goes in labor, but they kind of just didn't know. And somebody asked the skipper Dan Wilson about it, and he said, "I'll let Naylor tell everybody." And he said it with a smirk. And then Naylor was walking in today with big smiles. I think that baby is here. Okay. His name is going to be Trident, or he or she will be Trident.
What if the baby replaced the Trident as the home run celebration?
Dugout baby.
They Lion King the baby, right?
Dugout baby.
Like every time?
I'd be scared of Julio holding that thing.
No, without doubt.
Actually, no. Gino would hold it very delicately. Yeah. Randy would be the worst.
Josh would probably be the one we would need to worry about.
He'd do his rock the baby thing.
Dude,
if he hits a home run tonight and does the rock the baby, it's over. It's over.
It is over. Maybe this is what they needed the whole time to get them over the hump. I don't know, but of course they did win game 2, so they are that's always fun too. By the way, they won the game they should have, or lost the game they should have won. Won the game against Tarek Skubal that they probably should have lost.
Yes, 100% should have lost.
And again, Julio not a 3 for 5 day, but 1 for 4 with the go ahead RBI
with
double.
The biggest hit of his career.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
Yeah,
like that they won a playoff game at home for the first time since 2001. It was all because of Julio and Cal Raleigh. Like it was awesome. So today, bringing it back to the D-backs, I think we're watching Gino, because Gino has been bad. He hasn't been great since he got traded, but he's been pretty bad in these last couple of weeks.
I mean, he's been bad since he got traded. Let's be honest. Like he's still the power is still there. He had 13 home runs as a Mariner.
He had a couple hot streaks, but you're waiting to see it. I will say, he knows Jack Flaherty pretty well. He has almost 30 ABs against him, and
he also knows Comerica very well.
Yeah. Yep. He has like 30 ABs against him. He's hit like almost double-digit home runs. So
and it's like what I said about the D-backs, right? They're so close. Like Polanco, he had a great day in game 2, right? But like that's what they need in order to get over the hump. They need one other guy to add to what Cal and Julio are doing, and that's what we saw with the Diamondbacks too often this season. 2 guys doing it, not a third guy, and it's like that third person is all you need really to feel like you can get over the hump.
They also have the biggest playoff riser in the last 10 years on leading off in Randy Arozarena, who has not done much yet. So
That's true. They got a lot of guys that could still wake up, and that offense could get very potent. And they're going to need to in order to take on Leah's Toronto Blue Jays, who are just absolutely going to kill whoever probably wins this series anyway. So regardless, do you guys have a gentleman's bet? Is there a gentleman's bet between Noah and Shane in any way?
He doesn't care enough, I don't think.
Oh my God, I hate him even more. Mm-hmm. I find new ways to hate Noah, and he's like the least hateable person, but for some reason, he just finds new ways to make me hate him. But Deborah Owens, you're absolutely right. There will be a D-backs post-game show later tonight after those 2 postseason games today, and Jesse Friedman will be joining us for that. And there is Arizona Fall League. It started yesterday, and today, actually at 1 p.m., is the first game for the Salt River Rafters. So we will be covering that. Just got my press pass. I'm excited to get out there. Excited to talk to Dre Jameson and some future Diamondbacks on that team. So make sure to stay tuned to PHNX Diamondbacks for that. The rest of you, thank you guys so much for being here. And Deborah, I felt like I left you out there, Deborah. To Deborah and all of you, and Killer Rex even, thank you guys for joining us. I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. with another Southwest Bias. Like I said, Erica is going to join us to talk more about the Mercury, and we're going to start diving into this Phoenix Sun season. We're going to talk about ASU and U of A, and of course, we're also going to preview the next Cardinals disaster with Johnny Venerable on Friday. So do not miss out on all the fun we're going to have around here on Southwest Bias. Of course, we appreciate you guys. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at @cap_caveman with a K. Shane is at Shane Deef. And all roads, as always, lead to @PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys again for your time. Have a wonderful afternoon. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you know if Josh Naylor's baby has arrived.
We all silly like the mayor.